Hello everyone, no respawns, hope you're doing well. So I have a mod update review of sorts, basically. So Unlock 7 Objects, the mod that we all know and love, has just received, or recently received, a rather huge update. Now, a lot of you obviously messaged me about this, and Andrew CX actually messaged me a couple of weeks ago, kind of with an FYI that it was coming, and it's now dropped, and it's a doozy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit open my building menu because it takes ages to open up, but also I'm not going to actually show you everything quite simply because there's just too much to go through. I tried doing this video last night and it ended up being, well, the first one ended up being 40 minutes long, 45, and I think the other one after that was about 20 something. It was still way too long for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you my personal favourite interesting parts and just quickly brush over the stuff and be like, chicken there's new shit. So basically it's available now, so you update it. I've got if I remember correctly, there's like a USO mod which is everything in one giant mod, and then there's a USO which is the one I've got, which is all of the separate sub mods. Just update the ones that are available which you have. I have had no problems with it conflicting with other mods. Some people have mentioned they have, but that's probably more load order for them, and mine's just the default order. So as you can see, I'm not doing the furniture section, but the whole thing is there are loads of retextured beds and sofas with that stuff. Basically, it uses lots of the paintings and flag textures, which is very cool. But firstly, I'm going to go to my new section, which I love, which is the NPCs section, and this is grand as fuck. So what this is, as you can probably gather already, is they're placeable NPCs. Some of them act as guards. It actually says what each one of them does. So, for example, in the top, he's gone into quite a lot of detail. So, with Brahmin, they don't move. You've got Pack Brahmin, domesticated rad stags, gorillas, junkyard dogs, which I really, really love. A quick note on the NPCs that you place them. They do walk around, as you can see. All of them do, with the exception of one of the robots, but I'll get to that in a sec. I haven't tested them out because I went to Spectre Gliding because it's got a lot of space, but with so far they've tended to wander around the area I've left them. I don't know in a smaller settlement whether they're actually wander across the entire settlement. That would need some testing, but it seems to be they kind of just meander around. He just randomly walks around at random, like basically a normal standard NPC. But I don't know exactly. I haven't extensively tested it. It seems to use lots of the standard in-game AI. There's kitty cats as well, which is quite grand. As you notice as well, it uses certain resources. And there's also crows and gulls, which is just the mankiest gulls. I mean, they're just so creepy looking. But I quite like that. That's going to be fun for kind of adding a bit more character to my settlements. NPC children, as you can see, so it counts against settlement limit, but may not be allocated cash, but boosts happiness. A quick note on this, you may notice that they change when I move them left or right. That's because basically the game, and this accounts with everything, so if you go into the guards, if you ever want to change the way they look, it's best more dynamic with the raiders. Let's go to the radius. Go to raiders. So I place a raider here, store her and place her again. I can just kind of scroll through and it'll be a different kind of raider. So basically, if you want raider guards or whatever guards you're using and you want them to look different, just scroll back through. But you can also do it like I just did there, where you just place them and store them and place them and store them. As you can see, there are quite a few, and I like these as well. So, for example, I place this railroad guard here. She adds 6 to the defense, and she'll just wander around. So I don't need to assign her to a guard post. So, for example, if I don't want guard posts, or if I don't want her standing at a particular spot, which is quite cool. You can mix this up with other guard mods, which is basically what my plan is. One thing I don't like a little bit is they don't look like they're patrolling. It would be nice if they walked around with guns, but other than that, pretty cool. Now, there are merchants. I'm not going to go through them because there are just loads, but basically general merchants, faction merchants, and specialist merchants. Specialist merchants just the ones with a theme. So barrack, so cleaner, book cleaner. And the general merchants, you can see, are just ammo, armor, all that jazz. Faction merchants I'm going to show you, though, because there's an Adam Cats one, which makes me very, very happy. I just like the fact he does move, don't worry. But it's grand because you've actually got a settler, which is basically, I just wanted someone in power armor who wasn't a member of the Brotherhood of Steel. That's just what I want. I want some power armored NPCs wandering around my settlements, and then there are one for all the others, and they follow the same random generation as the kind of the random appearance generation. Now, this is pretty straightforward. What you do is you place one of these down, flip the switch, and it immediately teleports in 3 of the listed people basically the way it looks is it works like the teleport Homer for the, like when you're the Institute teleporting. It basically looks like that. I haven't got, and then you basically have to actually allocate them to the settlement first, then you can assign them jobs. I haven't gotten the super mutants to work. They come in, they're friendly, and they wander around, but I can't get them to assign for jobs yet. I can't even get them to assign to the settlement, but that might just be my little game being weird. But this is my favourite section. This is grand. So we've got a whole list of robots, and these are basically in-game robots that we can now place. Now, just a quick note on the iBot. So basically, whenever... This is the point of this. You notice when I select him now, he's making the Protectron noise. Same as if I go to the Assaultron, right? They make the Assaultron noise. I'm not going to even open the iBot menu, because immediately when you select them, they play music, and even if you remove them, that music doesn't go away. Also, the iBots just don't float around. So currently the iBots aren't working, which is a shame. They appear there, and there's also Sonya, which is quite cool if you've done that quest. But they don't work yet. Hopefully they will get fixed soon, or it might just be my particular version of the mod. Someone let me know. Maybe I've got the load order weird and it's doing something odd, but they don't work. However, the others do, and they're grand. And they also have, see, Mr. Handy. There's a Mr. Handy with a UK flag on the side. There's a Miss Nanny. Mr. Gutsy's. I'm going to put some Protectrons around because I want you to hear their voices. That's Protectron's chef. Go there. Bum, 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 bum. And there's also Protectron Brewer, which I don't have any beers. That's just Buddy, I believe. So if you've already done the quest with Buddy, you will be able to place them down right now. Police ones. But basically, the great thing is these have own...
Protect and serve.
Well, they have the normal things,
Please
but...
remain calm if you are injured.
Do I look like I have time for idle chit-chat?
So this is fantastic, because they basically actually have the dialogue of the...
Sir?
It's fantastic. They basically have, obviously, their standard dialogue, which is like their kind of in-game dialogue. Obviously, because loads of you know, if you have Automatron, you can't give them Mr. Gutsy, Miss Nanny, or, what do you call it? You just can't give them most of the voices, actually. You have to kind of give them beep beeps, or kind of these really weird synthetic male or female voices. I think the only one you can have is the SentryBot one. So they're very cool, and as you can see, they patrol. One thing, I'm going to leave him there. I'll leave you two there. One thing I like, now I do need to test them in another settlement to see if they wander around the entire settlement, but those of you who know, and this is why I really like this could be a mod in itself, in fact, is that these work better than the Automatron robots. See, that one adds 4 to defense, for some reason that one adds 6. But I place them down, they add defense, and they just patrol, right? It's fantastic. Whereas if I'm using the Automatron ones, if I want them to patrol specifically, I have to assign... If I assign them to a guard post, they'll spend most of their time just kind of standing next to the post, and then just meandering through the posts. Or I'll have to assign them to food in the case it won't add to defense. So I'm quite happy with the way these work. I'm curious to see, I said, on another settlement, whether they'll actually wander around further. But they also require, as you can see, robotics expert ranks. I don't have any... I only have rank 2, so I can't place those. But for example, I can place the Assaultrons. If I just do your standard Assaultron. She just mans around, which is quite cool. And then you've also got this one's I can't place, but it's a mini Liberty Prime, so I actually really do want to see that one. But you can do Gen 1 synths as well. So this, for me, might actually replace a lot of my, or some of my Automatron robots. Just because, I mean, the only thing that I like, with me, I'm quite RP heavy, and I like the idea that we've just disabled this robot, dragged it back, and just reprogrammed it, rather than, you know, custom built our own robot again. But I love that section. So there are some few other things. I said there's loads of stuff, so definitely have a good look through. There's experimental items, which is just water for a bath. But in the glitch tools section... There are nav mesh repair rugs. Those of you remember when I was doing the castle build, I was having a real trouble with NPCs not noticing all of my ramps, whereas now I can just pop this down over the top of one of my custom ramps, and I'll know it'll work. So that's just fantastic, and it shows that Andrew is listening to people's troubles with certain items. So let's go to the structured stuff, the cool stuff that I like. So in the wood tab, this is something that made me, and given my love of ramps in the wood pallets and planks and plywood section, is all the way to the side. This is one of my most used sections in the game. There are now boards, and there are loads of them. So you can make I can make quite kind of funky I could basically use these to make quite a lot of very extravagant and very, very funky little walkways. But alongside that, there are loads, is we've actually got barricaded, boarded up window bits as well. They obviously do that thing where they snap into the ground a little bit, so you'll have to use a pillar to move them into place. But that's going to be really fun for quite a lot of... If you wanted maybe some, like... Say if you were restarting a new game and just wanted a kind of quite low-tech, boarded-up sanctuary, you could use that stuff, you know? Now, they've also retextured the metal. I'm not going to show you, but as you can see, he's retextured all the metal bits as well. Now, just going to skip over those, but on the cloth section... Whoop, bit lag. So we've got tents now. Quite a lot of them, which I quite like. So these are going to be fun when positioned in part of buildings. All of this stuff as you see in-game, but we now have access to it. There's loads of them, which is quite grand. Also retextured, as you can see. This one just floats, so I guess this was actually quite nice if you want some. It's a bit weird on how it places, but they've got loads of more of the standard raider tents, but just more of them. And then at the end, you've got these ones, which I've never used ever in my life, but you've got them if you want to use them. So that's grand. That's really cool, actually. I'm going to make... A lot of this stuff will just basically enable me to make a lot of more weird and wonderful builds. There are a couple of retextured of the standard junk fences, but I want to go over to this section. So in the trucks and trailers section, there is... an RV! This, mate, I cheered when I saw this, because... Firstly, every time I see one of these in game, I'm like, that would just be the perfect player home. Why can't I make this? What the shit? What's wrong? And now we have one. It's fantastic. I'm going to make... These will be in a lot of my settlements from now on, because they'll be all over the game anyway. And, for example, I want to do Sunshine Tidings co-op as basically, because obviously it's already a hippie-styled place anyway, I want to basically make it an updated... hippie style place. So I'm gonna have, like, you know, it's gonna be like a hippie commune, so it's gonna have loads of RVs and like loads of drug growing areas and greenhouses and shit. It's gonna be very, very cool. So we've got some more cars. This thing just stands out. I need to show you, it's a giant ass train. Don't know why it says Zug for, I'm a bit confused there, but it looks cool. And I've got the wagons, so what I'm going to be doing at some point is doing a settlement, which is literally just these, and like a kind of, as if it was a derailed train, and they just built a little village around it, which is quite cool. Now, in the pre-war building section, there's only one new thing, but it's a doozy. Which you've got these small bunkers now. There are still more of these bunkers, like, styles in the game, so there's more stuff for Andrew or another mod dev to add. They're quite easy to place, as you can see. But these will be fun, especially for you people who do quite militaristic builds. For example, if you've got one of those mods that allows you to place a workbench anywhere, you could just find a place where you feel a bunker would work here, and you could just plop a bunker down, which is quite grand, and obviously you can build inside and then build all over it as well. So that's going to be a fun one. In pre-war, okay, so that's everything in there. Now, I'm going to be quick and just show you a couple of things that I like. So we've got decals now. There are not many of them. There are still more. I still want one that just gives me all the railroad symbols. Somebody, I just want all the railroad symbols. That's all I want. Give me them. But there are still quite a few. So Minuteman logos, Pridwin ones, some of them weird, creepy handprints. I imagine this is quite an easy one. There's one for the ground as well. It's pretty decent. I still want the, as I said, I still want the railroad, because I just want the rail signs. I just want to put rail signs. Lots of people have mentioned this, so I need to draw attention to this. We have barrels, and then we have barrels on their side, which, for all of those weird little ramps, you know, having barrels with all of the long pieces of, those long planks that we've got, they can't actually place them over, so you'd have to glitch them on, but we're going to have some quite fun builds where I'm going to have loads of barrels, and then you walk across the barrels on the ramps. It'll be grand. It'll be grand, and they've also retextured a few of those. But anyway, going to the themes section for a sec. I said there are new stuff, so I recommend just having a look through each section when you have the time. So we've got the arcade machines now. These are unique to a few areas in the game, but you can have pinball machines, arcade machines, obviously different colours of each one, skee ball, and I think that's all of them, but they're very, very cool. I've always seen them in game and be like, why don't I have them yet? So that's rather grand. Now, anyway, we've also got this, which I was very happy about, because I want to make Nora's grave in Sanctuary, and I can now finally make an actual grave, which is quite cool. There's a few new stuff in the sections you can see, but if we go all the way over here for a sec, something I do want to show you. the Xmas section. Right, now, we've obviously got a load more Christmas trees. Bigger ones and very big ones, but we've got Xmas lights, which is just amazing. Now, they actually don't... Let me just go inside this house, because it's a better way of demonstrating them. They don't actually give off light, but they glow. And to be utterly honest, that's all I've wanted. Look at that. That just completes that already. Yeah? I don't know about you, but every time Christmas comes around, I leave my my fairy lights up constantly. My flatmate, in fact, still has hers up. They're not the coloured ones, but they're quite easy to get down as well. But I love fairy lights, and those who remember Fallout 3, where you had the fairy lights, you could have had a decoration where you had the fairy lights inside the Megaton house. Oh, this is just fantastic. If you get some white ones, that would be cool, but we've still got the colourful, pretty ones. Now, we notice as well that because Andrew's uber clevers, he's actually, what he's gone and done is he's made it so to select these, he's actually put an invisible rug. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to grab these than it would be if they were just, you're trying to grab the cable is really, really hard. So not only do these work well, they don't actually need any power, and they look incredible. So I squealed with glee when I saw those. It was amazing. And I think that's kind of the main of the stuff that I wanted to draw attention to. I said there's loads more things, have a gander, but yeah, this is a fantastic update. Andrew's put some huge amount of work in here. As I said, there's new stuff in the furniture tab as well, loads of different stuff, so definitely have a good look through, so I didn't want to spend 40-50 minutes going for a mod, just because everyone would get a bit bored, and kind of I highlighted the interesting stuff. Anyway, as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I'll have a new video up soon. Next vid will probably be a Fortnite vid, because that comes out tomorrow, which I'm excited by. Definitely check in and watch that, because I think if you like building, you'll like this game, because it's basically shit tons of building, but also class-based horde killing, which is quite fun. Anyway, until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.